Good morning. This is Cindy Huckart, and the people in my group that we have been doing the 14-day Take Back Control of Your Life challenge, I asked them in a poll what were the kinds of things that topics that would be helpful for us to cover beyond the things we've been taking care of in the challenge. And the most frequently voted topic was how to get rid of negative self-talk. So I want to spend a few minutes this morning talking about that whole notion of negative self-talk and bring some awareness around it and give you some tools you can think about that might help you. And it is an important topic because negative self-talk ends up submarining your goals and your desires to have a better life in all regards, whether it has to do with your relationships, your business and financial goals, your personal development, your hobbies, etc., and just your joy in life. It is proven through studies that the negative self-talk that you have going on in your head will actually impact your health. People who tend to be negative are more and more likely to be depressed and are less resilient to be able to address just the day-to-day challenges that life brings your way. So it is important to address it, and I'm glad the group brought it up as a topic that needed some dialogue. So the first kind of negative self-talk is the always or never thinking. It's like, I am never going to find a right parking place. I am never going to get a raise. I am never going to find someone to share my life with in a relationship of, mutual love. Those kinds of always and never thinkings are never true. How's that for using a never to describe something that is a negative? But it's very dangerous to start categorizing yourself in terms of always or negative, always or never, because then it sets you up for failure and you don't even try. If you don't believe something is possible, then you're not going to move forward and take risks and do things that are just outside your comfort zone. And they always say success is just on the other side of your comfort zone. So it's important to recognize that. The second type of negative is to focus on the negative in any situation. As a nurse and as a consultant, it's very natural to always hone in on the negative. Clients don't pay me in the healthcare setting to tell them why they're wonderful, as a rule. Certainly as coach, that's different. But in a healthcare setting where I'm looking at a current practice, they're wanting me to identify what the flaws are. So it's a very natural tendency to be able to identify what's negative and focus on that. But instead, we need to hone the skill to identify what's positive. For example, I was with my youngest grandson last night, and he was telling me, Gigi, I got 1D, 1C, and 5 A's on my report card. And it was really a very natural tendency to go, well, what happened with the D? Okay, but let's focus on the A's. Let's get back to the D's and see what we can do to improve that. But start with the A's. Start with, good job. What was your favorite? And it happens to be math. And, really enforce and encourage the areas where he's strong and where he's having success. And then if there's an opportunity to build up those areas that are lower, then that can be a second step. The third type of negative thinking is catastrophic predicting. I am guilty of this when we're driving the RV because my mind, it's huge, 20,000 pound, I don't know how big it is, but it's a 36-foot RV that doesn't maneuver like my little Honda Fit, right? And so when my husband is driving in heavy traffic, it is very natural for me to think about crashing and think about the devastation that's going to occur because of all the traffic, and maybe it's raining and it's I have control issues because he's driving and I'm not, those kinds of things. So it gets very difficult to control some of that. But what that negative catastrophic predicting does is just raise my stress level and raise the anxiety overall. And if you believe in the law of attraction, which I certainly have it proven in my life, it can actually bring bad things to happen because you're gripping so tight that you aren't as resilient, you don't move with the flow, etc. So try to refocus your thinking and think about positive things that are going to come about as a result of whatever the situation is, rather than the catastrophic thinking. The next part, which everybody I bet is guilty of, is reading people's minds. So, you don't, especially people who are trying to stretch their boundaries. Maybe you're trying to sell your services, thinking about how you might branch out your business or try something new. And you can begin thinking, well, they're not going to be interested in that. They probably think, because I've tried so many different things, that they're going to think, well, it's meaningless. She's just on one more tangent, and if I wait her out, it'll just go away. Well, I have no way of knowing what someone else is thinking about me. And I've even heard it said that what someone thinks about you is really none of your business. What you think about you is what's important, and that is a critical finding. So I work on that all the time, because when I start thinking what other people are probably thinking, then I give myself a timeout and say, you don't know what they're thinking. And the reality is, most people are busy thinking about their own lives. They're not busy thinking about your life and what you're doing and judging you. You are probably judging yourself. So that is probably a case where you're projecting your inner critic on other people and the way they see you, and you have no idea what they're really thinking. And the only way to know what they're really thinking is to have a discussion and to open a dialogue and to see what reality actually is. And then that opens you up to some positive, constructive feedback. And if there are opportunities where you get something that's hard to hear, then great, because it's better to know it so you can do something about it than to just imagine all the negative things that someone might be thinking about you. So that's the fourth type of negative thinking. And the fifth type of negative thinking is guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is where you are really experiencing a level of shame, if you will, about things that you've done in the past that you're not proud of, that you feel guilty about, and that you would do over if you could, but unless you have a time machine, you can't go back and fix it. So whether it's something, small, like you said something to hurt someone's feelings, or whether it's something's large and you really did, do something that you have hurt someone, you can't go back and fix it. So you have to adjust your thinking and accept that you did the best job you could in the circumstance. And if you can't change the past, you have to change the way you think about the past, and allow yourself forgiveness, and be taking the mindset that you will learn from it and move forward from that, being a better, stronger person moving forward. So those are the 5 types of negative thinking, and how you can sort of reframe your approach to working on those. And one of the things that I do that can be very helpful is to have mastermind groups or accountability partners who will keep you honest in terms of sharing those kinds of thoughts that are coming up for you. And then, they can sort of say if this is even in the scope of reality. But if you don't have an accountability partner or a mastermind group that you use for those kinds of things, then use the tools for yourself. And remember that one of the most important things to get rid of negative self-talk is to be constantly reinforcing yourself with positive self-talk, positive affirmations, positive visualizations. And we can talk about more of that in another video. But I wanted to address that negative self-talk discussion because it was requested in the group. And if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and we can talk about it more. We can process individual things if it's of interest. So thank you very much, and have a great day, and hope you have learned something in this video to help you tackle some of your negative thinking, because it tends to be one of the most important factors to breaking through your barriers to success. Have a wonderful day. Bye.